Thanks for joining. Right, let's get going. My name is Leon Crisp, and I'm founder and CEO of a company called Auto. We're a Salesforce ISV partner, and I'm also passionate about personal development and learning, and that's why I'm doing this talk on growth mindset and imposter syndrome. So we only have 25 minutes, so I'm just going to be able to give you a high-level introduction to this and point you in the right direction. My slides have more detail on them than I'm going to cover, but I've done that on purpose so that hopefully they're useful to you. You can read them more detail afterwards on the recording. Right, let's get going then. So imposter syndrome. First of all, what is imposter syndrome? Well, it's a persistent feeling of being a fraud or with a fear of being found out or exposed, and that can include a belief that one's successes are the outcome of luck or fraud rather than skill, and generally goes along with a belief or feeling of not being good enough. So how does it feel? Well, mainly this combination of doubt, fear, and feeling like not being good enough. And you might be saying to yourself, what if I get found out that I'm not actually good enough? Consequences of imposter syndrome, well, quite a number of them. First of all, it perpetuates self-doubt, that feeling of never being good enough. And that can lead to underestimating what you can achieve and to self-sabotage, limiting your progress and success. And that also makes it harder to try new things and take on stretch challenges. So overall, that's a barrier to learning, growth and progress. Feeling good or bad about yourself depends on external factors, things outside your control. So these are feedback from other people and results. Overall, it therefore reduces satisfaction and fulfillment because of all the things above, and it makes success and failure both scary and stressful. And we'll see more later about why that is. So overall, it's disempowering and it's stressful. What's really going on with imposter syndrome? There are two things. First is a mindset that's contributing towards it, and another is a mismatch. We'll look at both. So the mindset is a disempowering set of beliefs and habits that maintains and reinforces the problem. And this mindset doesn't reflect reality, so it doesn't serve you well and can lead to bad decisions. And also, the feeling of success depends on factors outside your control, as I mentioned, so or on other people or external factors. The mismatch side, how you feel versus expectations. So this is a mismatch between how you feel about yourself. So, for example, feeling you're not good enough, but that not good enough is versus an expectation of yourself of how good you think you should be, or how you think other people think you should be, and this gap it leads to this fear of being found out and feeling like an imposter. Right, so you can see from that's consequences of imposter syndrome are quite disempowering, and so we're going to look at how you get past it and actually take your power. So yeah, this is all about taking your power. The first step is of fostering a growth mindset, and this is the way forward, is fostering the growth mindset. So the first step towards that is awareness, and this is awareness of your current mindset and habits, so you can see become aware of which ones don't serve you and why, and awareness of new mindset and habits. So create a picture of what good looks like, what you want to move to. Then it's a matter of getting on and changing those habits and mindset, which takes time and effort and commitment. First of all, a quick note about what doesn't work, just because it's worth being aware of and it's maybe counterintuitive. So one of the things that doesn't work and can get in the way is certain types of reassurance from friends or colleagues. Things like, you're great, you're amazing, and giving the same type of reassurance to yourself or seeking it from others. It is temporarily reassuring and calming, but actually it doesn't help in the long term because it maintains the cycle. It creates this disempowering loop of dependency on what other people say. So what does work is transitioning to a growth mindset plus disclosure, which is about setting expectations that we've just talked about. There are actually two mindsets we'll talk about. As well as a growth mindset, there is a fixed mindset. Both of these were named by a psychologist called Carol Dweck, and she looked at studies of thousands of people and saw their behavior fell into two categories. And she's written a very nice book about growth mindset as well, if you're interested in reading that. Right, the fixed mindset we'll look at first. The definition of that is a belief that your abilities, talents, intelligence, and personality traits are fixed and unchangeable. You're born with what you're born with, and that's it. The consequences of this, well, imposter syndrome is one of the outcomes. So all the consequences we already looked at. But overall, it leads to a fear of not being good enough and all the stress around that, reduces confidence, reduces the feeling of control, and reduces improvement efforts. So it creates this vicious cycle that maintains the problem, as we've already talked about. Growth mindset, it's really the opposite of that in many ways. It's a belief that your abilities, intelligence, and traits are not fixed, but they can be developed through focused effort, learning, and practice. The consequences of this, overall, it gives confidence and a correct understanding that you can get good at anything if you put the effort in. And this leads to learning, development, growth, and more success with less stress. Some of the specific consequences, so it creates confidence and removes self-doubt. So success is related to things in your control, not outside your control. Feeling good or bad depends on yourself. Again, your own actions and efforts and responses which are in your control. Leads to feeling optimistic about what you can achieve and to feeling excited to try new things and to take on stretch challenges. And therefore facilitates learning and growth and maximizes satisfaction and fulfillment because these are things related to things in your control and they don't depend on success or failure either. It leads to self-empowerment, therefore, because of all the reasons above, and maximizes progress and success. And overall, it's empowering and it minimizes stress. So the opposite of a fixed mindset and of imposter syndrome. Right, this table is a comparison between fixed mindset and growth mindset to help you really build that awareness that we talked about. So it's one to study in the slides afterwards and really familiarize with. I'm just going to point out a few things for now. So the belief, as you mentioned, fixed mindset, the belief is that skill, ability, intelligence is static. Each person's level is set. Whereas growth is the opposite, that this can be developed and is a result of effort and practice. With a fixed mindset, what it feels like is that if you're naturally great at something, then that thing should be easy. That doesn't actually reflect reality. The growth mindset reflects the reality, the belief there, that the understanding that it takes a lot of effort and practice to get great at something, even if you have some, natural ability. And with a fixed mindset, feeling good about yourself depends on other people saying good things or about achieving good results. So these external things outside your control, and therefore it's stressful because they're outside of your control. Whereas with a growth mindset, feeling good about yourself depends on just doing your own planned action, which are completely within your control and leads to feeling empowered. Another really important difference is the difference in attitude to success and failure between two mindsets. Again, the table for you to study and familiarize with. This one's really useful. I'm just going to point out a few things again. So for a fixed mindset, failure means I'm not good at it. I just don't have it. That's what it feels like it's giving evidence of, and it makes you think, well, I'm not good enough. I'm stupid. Feel ashamed, and therefore it's stressful and can lead to a fear of failure. Whereas with a growth mindset, failure is expected. It's just a normal part of learning and trying things, and it just means I have more to learn. I need to practice, study more. And actually, the response is that there's something interesting and useful to learn here. So it's a response of curiosity and even excitement, wanting to share it. Success also is quite different in terms of the attitude for a fixed and growth mindset. So with a fixed mindset, with success, although it can bring some temporary relief or boost of confidence, there's actually always this doubt and fear remaining. Maybe it's just luck or chance, and so it's actually still stressful and can lead to a fear of success. And the more success you achieve already, the greater this level of expectation. The bar is set higher, and there's this fear, doubt of, can I repeat this again and maintain it? Can I maintain this level? So actually, the more success, high level of success achieved, the more stress and the more fear created. Whereas with a growth mindset, it doesn't have that. The success is simply an indication, a sign that the effort and practice are paying off, and just it feels like, well, that's great. It's working. I want to learn more or improve more. Just want to mention luck, but because I've mentioned that a few times already. So we're not in control of chance, and chance does influence things, success and failure and various other things. But we are in control of how we prepare and how we respond, and that's what's really important, and that's what growth mindset helps to do better. So how do we actually move to a growth mindset? First of all is awareness, which we've already covered, and then it's aligning beliefs to the growth mindset beliefs, and these are beliefs which actually reflect reality and therefore work, and also the habits, changing your habits to align to growth mindset habits, which are habits which actually serve and empower you. So look at the beliefs first. These are the key ones. So skills are learned or developed, not fixed or born with. That's the key one. And this learning takes time, effort, and commitment. It's not something that's just about natural ability. It can actually take a lot of time, maybe even thousands of hours and years of time for certain to become excellent at certain types of skills. You don't need to be super intelligent to be super successful. That's a myth. It's down to persistent, focused effort and learning, and that's what wins out in the end. And failing is good. This is really important to to get aligned with that. If you're not making mistakes, you're not learning, and therefore you won't progress. So failing is not only it's good, it's vital to progressing. Let's look at the habits of a growth mindset. So yeah, we'll run through these quickly. Again, study them more afterwards. So first of all, set learning, improvement, or development goals. This is all about learning and improving. So rather than performance or the end results, succeeding or failing. So set your goals related to learning, improvement, development, and the aim when setting them isn't to aim for perfection. It's about improving. So the aim is to try things, to keep trying and keep learning. Attribution. Learn what to say to yourself when you succeed or fail at something, when you experience success or failure. So when you experience success, say to yourself, my efforts are paying off. Great, let's learn more. And when you fail, say to yourself, interesting, what can I learn from this? So encourage your curiosity as a response. Seek feedback at every opportunity. Seeking feedback is and learning from every criticism is rocket fuel for your progress. So actively do this. And same with failure. Seek, celebrate, and share failure. The more failure, the better. And I really mean that. The more, the better. It's vital. Make your own safe spaces to practice and try things, so that you can try things and be not worry whether if they result in failure or success, or making mistakes. Create safe spaces where you can try things and make mistakes, and it doesn't matter. Language. This can be really powerful, actually. The simple thing here, using the word yet, the power of the word yet. So add it to your statements. So I'm not good at swimming yet. I'm not a swimmer yet. I don't swim yet. More habits. They're all helpful. They will contribute. So the next three are about closing this gap. So don't pretend, hide, or fake it. There's no shame in being a learner or beginner. So just be open and make sure there's nothing to be found out about. Do that by setting and managing your own expectations and those of others. So there's nothing to be found out about. Know your purpose. So it takes a lot of effort and commitment to become great at something. So you need to be well motivated, and therefore you need to know why you're doing it. So make sure you're clear on your purpose of why you're doing what you're doing, and also focus. Again, the same reason, it takes time, effort, and commitment. You can't learn everything or be good at everything. So choose your areas and focus on them. And with all of these habits, make daily small changes and daily efforts that make sure you're doing something every day. This compounds up over time and leads to big results. Just want to mention failing again. It's so important. So if you're not failing, you're not learning, full stop. It's as simple as that. So make this a habit. Seek, celebrate, and share failure. The more, the better. Right, once you're on your way to mastering growth mindset yourself, you may want to share it with your team and your organization. It will certainly be really beneficial in any organization and in any team. So here are a few ways you can do that. You can first of all, building awareness and setting learning, improvement, or development goals, as already discussed. Feedback, again, vital, but seeking feedback. The thing to be aware of here is it's twice as stressful for the giver and receiver of feedback if that feedback isn't asked for. So the thing to do is to create a culture of proactively asking for feedback at every opportunity. The aim is so that no one ever has to give feedback that isn't asked for, and that makes it much easier to give and much easier to listen to and learn from and work much better. Focus that feedback on improvements rather than results, and praise the effort and the learning and improvement made. Encourage employees to experiment and learn. Again, success or failure it isn't important. It's having a go and learning that's important. That's what moves you forward. So you need to create safe spaces so people can try this where mistakes and failures don't cause problems, and celebrate those failures as much as successes. So again, it reinforces it. It's just the having a go and trying that's important. It doesn't matter if it's success or failure. And actually, there's always a lot to learn from each mistake or failure. So they're really gold dust valuable. Language, again, the power of yet, bring that into everyday use. And generally, to create a set of habits within your team or organization which encourage curiosity, learning, and growth. Right, I have finished what I'm going to tell you now in terms of hopefully it points you in the right direction and gives you a start. It's now up to you if you want to move to a growth mindset. It's going to take a lot of effort and practice. It may be simple, but not easy. It takes effort and practice. It doesn't come by just listening to this talk or reading a book. I'm going to leave you with a quotation. It's one of my favorite quotations, and I think it's really relevant to this talk, this subject, and it's been stuck on my computer monitor for more than 30 years now, so that's why it's looking a bit tatty. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. That's by Helen Keller. Right.